Radio for the revolution at ronpaulradio.com.
Sounds like Vegas.
What's going on, y'all? You're back. I'm your host, Paco, and you're listening to Occupied Media. Want to thank you if you're tuning in. Don't forget, you can also check me out, not just at ronpaulradio.com. Click on Listen Live, and you can join us in the chat room there. Also, you can join us at ronpaultribune.com. Click on the voice chat room, and you can check me out right there. Bunch of like-minded Ron Paul supporters. You know, anybody can jump on there, speak your mind. Talk about these delegates. We do a mock convention. Sometimes we have parliamentarian Steve Parent joining us. So it's great. Join if you can. Yes, Anon, he said in the chat room, does anyone know if this is also a podcast? I looked on iTunes, didn't see it. I don't know if we're on iTunes, but you can go on ronpaulradio.com, scroll down to the bottom. That's the podcast, or that's listing, and you can find any show you like and click play or click download, and you can get it there, and you can go back to the archive. And so, yeah, we do track our episodes there. So let's see what else is going on. We were going over some headlines, and there's some more I wanted to get to. Don't forget, you guys, to check out that one I talked about last hour. Secret kill list test Obama's principles. We got teenagers on the kill list, for Obama. It's getting crazy. New York Times. It's amazing. It really is. Okay, what else is going on? Okay, if you guys haven't heard this one, Senator Rand Paul, let me see here. He addresses Pakistan imprisonment of bin Laden informant. Okay, so supposedly this guy, Dr. Shakil Afridi, helped us capture bin Laden or get bin Laden, or get, the bin Laden raid, and he's still in prison. They won't even release him. Okay, so today, Senator Rand Paul announced he will introduce new legislation to address the issue of Pakistan's imprisonment of Shakil Afridi for treason against Pakistan. Dr. Afridi provided key intelligence to the United States leading to the death of Osama bin Laden. Dr. Afridi risked his own life to help the U.S. military find and kill its most wanted terrorists. Senator Paul's bills will have two purposes. The first bill will strip Pakistan of all foreign aid until Dr. Afridi's recent 33-year prison sentence is overturned and he is allowed to leave Pakistan. The second bill would grant him U.S. citizenship for his efforts. Quote, Pakistan must understand that they are choosing the wrong side. They accuse Dr. Afridi of working against Pakistan, but he was simply helping the U.S. capture the head of al-Qaeda. Surely Pakistan is not linking their interests with those of an international terrorist organization, Senator Paul said. Quote, foreign aid has been a failure precisely for this reason. We give the aid to governments who then turn and work against our national interests. That must end, he continued. Senator Paul's bills will be introduced as standalone legislation when the Senate returns next week, and he has announced his intention to secure votes as soon as possible on this important issue. So, yeah, I mean, supposedly this guy is helping us out. Well, we won't even release him from jail if he's giving us all this information. Well, what's the problem? So, basically Ron Paul is using their own actions against them pretty much. We're giving all this foreign aid, and what's going on? We're not getting nothing for it. What's the point of giving millions of dollars? We got people dying in the street, can't eat, can't afford a place to live, but we're giving these foreign governments trillions of dollars for what? Or millions of dollars for what? For nothing. Another great article out. 20 signs that society is breaking down and that America has been overrun by psychos. In order for a society to function successfully, people need to be able to trust one another. Unfortunately, we are rapidly getting to the point where it is very difficult to trust anyone and society is breaking down. Just think about it. Do you trust most politicians? Do you trust most lawyers? Do you trust most bankers? Do you trust the police? As you will read about below, even doctors are getting absolutely bonkers these days. So if the upper crust of society cannot even be trusted, then what about everyone else? Sadly, the truth is America has been overrun by psychos. Most people look somewhat normal when you meet them, but unfortunately very few people have pure motives these days. You never know when someone is going to stab you in the back, literally or figuratively. These days, most people simply do whatever is right in their own eyes, and that makes society a very unpredictable place. As the economy continues to fall apart in future years, people are going to become even more desperate, and that is going to cause all of this craziness to get even worse. And that's what I tell people. That's what I even tell the 1%. You part of the 1%, you better worry about America too. You better worry about the bankers and people going broke and not having jobs too, because you're not going to be able to go to the ATM. It's going to get more crazy. There's going to be more shootings, more robberies, more stabbings, more snatching your purse, kidnapping your kid, all of that. It's going to be more of it. So it's in the best interest of everybody in this whole country to make Ron Paul president, to take back the GOP, take back the Democrat Party, occupy Wall Street, occupy the Democrat Party, take it over, take it back. Anyways, let me get back to this article here. There's a few things that they point out, okay? Number one, cannibalism is alive and well in America, apparently. Down in Miami the other day, police shot a man who was literally eating the face off of another man, if you guys didn't hear about this. The guy was like tearing him to pieces with his mouth. So I told him, get off, Vega said. The guy just kept eating the other guy away, like ripping his skin. Oh, I should have read this before I said it out loud. Okay, let's see. Number two. Down in Florida recently, a crazed doctor spit a mouthful of blood on state troopers during a DUI arrest. It is quite frightening when even doctors are displaying this kind of psychotic behavior. Let's see, number three. A lot of people get on my case for picking on Detroit, but can you really blame me? So much bizarre material keeps coming out for the city. For example, just check out what recently happened to a 22-year-old pregnant woman. Survived after being bound, driven to Detroit, set on fire, and shot early Saturday morning. The woman who was 9 months pregnant had returned from a movie with her boyfriend and dropped him off at his house in Warren when she was approached from behind. Warren Police Sergeant Dave Geffert said the woman's hands, feet, and eyes were bound with duct tape. She was then forced into her car and driven to an unknown place in Detroit where she was doused with lighter fluid, set on fire, and shot once in the upper back, he said. This is what we're living in, and it's okay, though, because Obama's out for gay marriage now. It's fine. It's okay. Let's talk about that. It's so crazy. Even famous preachers get carjacked in Detroit. This is number 4. Just ask Pastor Marvin Winans. Pastor Marvin Winans' SUV remains missing as of Thursday morning, and so do the men who punched, kicked, and robbed the famous gospel singer. Winans was pumping gas Wednesday afternoon at Detroit Citgo Station on the corner of Linwood and Davison when at least 2 men ambushed him. Number 5. Would you like to have your lips stapled shut and then be tortured with a power tool? Well, that's exactly what happened to one man in Utah recently. This is what's going on in America. Number 6, a 26-year-old high school teacher in Minnesota has been charged with sending naked photos of herself to a phone of a 17-year-old male student. What's going on with the minds of these people that are messing with these kids? I don't understand it. How do you get off of this? Number 7, for some teachers, one student simply is not enough. A 33-year-old art teacher in Arizona was recently charged with having sex with 4 of her male students. Oh, my God. Okay, I'll get back to the rest of them. There's a few more. We'll get back to the list after the break. I'm your host, Paco. You're listening to Occupy the Media. Stay tuned.
We were brought up loving our country. That in the United States of America, we were free. And that's an attitude that we've tried to instill in our children. I met my wife in the Air Force. I was a combat pilot in Vietnam. I served in Desert Storm as a commander. When I graduated from the academy, I took the oath of office. And as a commander, I administered that oath to many people. Now I wonder about the understanding people have of our Constitution, and I think about our candidates for President of the United States. It's interesting to see the support Ron Paul gets from the military. And if we think back to the code of conduct and people raising their right hand that they were going to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, why would those same people support in great numbers Ron Paul? I think it's because they've raised their right hands and they're putting their lives on the line for us here in the United States. And they know that Ron Paul does the same.
I'm Gary Johnson, former governor of New Mexico.